Recording. Action.
Hello guys. I hope you can hear me because this is the first time we are doing this and it's kind of, we are breaking new grounds here. First of all, welcome to Munich.net Meetup. This is our first, as I said, online meetup. So we are hoping it will be problems free, let's say. To be honest, one of my biggest worries is if the talk is long enough, because when you are talking live, it's quite different. You know, you're stopping, you are talking with other people, so it's kind of a new thing for all of us. On the other hand, that might prove good because from this morning my vocal cords don't behave actually. My voice is coming and going, so let's see. It's going to be an interesting talk at most, I think. Anyway, just a fair warning that I am recording this session. I will publish it to YouTube, so if anyone objects, wants to hide him or something, just contact me and it's easy. I will not publish it immediately anyway. So yeah. Also, I'm not usually doing this. I'm not having a slide just for me, but since there is this distance in between us, I thought that could help a bit. I am George Cosmidis. I work as a software architect at TechCycle, and I am one of the organizers of Munich.net Meetup. You can also find me in these three social media, Twitter, GitHub, and my blog. I'm not very active, to be honest, but yeah, wanted to fill the page, let's say. Since I'm not very famous, I'm not famous enough, this is a warm welcome, a healthy welcome from Mr. President. He's giving, let's say, his fight right now. And a friendly reminder to the newcomers, leaving is not an option. Just so you will know. I also injected this slide just because, you know, we're living in a very weird situation right now. At most weird. We don't know when it will finish, and we are working remotely. But as I've read the Hanselman's tweet like 2 days ago or something, I don't remember, but he was saying it's not working from home, it's not remote working, it's quarantine working, which is kind of different. The chances of a burnout seems to be higher because there is no way out of this. So we all need to find ways out of it to, I don't know, keep our morale up. This is an opportunity on one hand because we can find speakers that can't come to Munich that easily. I don't know, someone from the United States. But it can also be an opportunity for everyone here and even more people to actually give a talk. We are planning to give small talks. We want to find people to do that. Give small talks, maybe 30 minutes, not more. What you did last week or a month ago, what research you did, no PowerPoint, no nothing, just we open a studio and you show some things. I think this will help everyone in the community to constantly be active and doing things. I believe that the only way to get sane out of this situation, if it lasts, I don't know, a year or two, is to be winners. And how? I don't know. Learn a language, learn a new computer language, do whatever, something. One of these, be a speaker, potentially is one of those things. Just explore your possibilities. So yeah, think about it. We can definitely help you. No need for anything special. One-on-one, very basic things. You will see that my talk today is again a very basic thing. So no worries at all. Contact me again or one of the organizers and we can definitely help you and we can put that online in no time. Yeah. So let's get going. Create, build, test, and publish a Nugget package with GitHub and Azure DevOps. This is here just to so all of you can be sure that you are watching the correct talk anyway. And what we're going to do, going to last approximately an hour, I hope. Let's see if the talk is enough and if my voice permits it anyway. We're going to create a .NET Core library, a new .NET Core library. Very easy, just a hello world thing. We're not going to spend much time there. We need to configure it, of course. We need to create a GitHub project. We need to upload our code there. Then we need to create an Azure DevOps project, all of them public. We'll see why in a minute, and create our pipelines. One pipeline will just build and test. The other pipeline will build, test, and at the end deploy to Nugget. So yeah, this is the beginning. Just before I start, I wanted to tell you how I'm thinking to do that, since this is a first time for me at least. I was thinking, I prepared the slide almost for every step, but it's kind of not easy to have a slide and then switch to Visual Studio and then switch back to the slides. So I was thinking we'll talk about, we'll see a few slides, talk about them for a while, and then switch to Studio or GitHub or Azure DevOps and do what we want to do. So first thing, create a .NET Core library, a Hello World library. What I want to show here is that the mandatory fields, package ID, package version, and licensing. If you want to upload to nugget.org, these three properties are mandatory. Of course, if you plan to publish something to the world to use, you should fill all the fields, right? Tags and description, everything should be there. Nevertheless, only these three are mandatory. Package ID, you more or less can understand newtonsoft.json. It's the name. Package version, though, that can be, I assume most of you know the semantic versioning. I just added a slide to explain pretty fast what is it about. Major, minor, patch. This is the three numbers that we see here, that we see in a version. Major, we change the version when we make incompatible changes, when we break compatibility, when we are not backward compatible. Minor, it's when we add functionality, but in a backward compatible way. Nobody will understand that we change something or we add something, at least we should. And patch is just an incremental number every time we fix a bug. Usually when we change the minor version, we reset the patch to 0 again. So besides these major three numbers, we have the dash, this semantic way of saying that something is pre-release with dash alpha, which is a work in progress. It's an experiment. It's not yet ready. The beta is, it is a feature that it is complete. We expect to be complete. We plan it to release it. Maybe it will have bugs. Not sure, probably, to be honest, but yeah, we're not ready to publish it. RC, it is the release candidate. It is probably stable, completely stable. We solved all our bugs. We are ready to do that. We give it to the world. We say, test it and let's see if it's going. And then we can also have, that is a build. That build from semantic version 2, which means Nugget 4.3.0, we can have the dot notation. So as you see, it's dash build dot 23. Before that, before version 2, semantic version 2, we should have it as 1. We could have it as 1. For example, build 23 without the dot. Now, licensing. This is a very complicated thing, to be honest. I never went deep into it, just very simple things, and that is why I will even skip the first bullet, this SPDX specification. There is a link here. I will publish the PowerPoint so you can find it if you want to dive deeper into it. The most important thing for me is which license to choose. Both of those licenses that I have here, the MIT and the the Apache 2, are saying the same thing. Do whatever you want with my software. I don't care. Just don't sue me if something goes wrong. So MIT is saying that in an extremely short way. I think it's a paragraph or 2 or something. And Apache 2 is saying that as a very long and very specific way of how you cannot sue me about everything you can do. This is why lawyers like most the Apache too. But this is also the reason why I use MIT, just because the lawyers like the other one. So I think, yeah, this is, maybe that should be at the beginning. This is what we're going to do, just a very simple project. We are going to add a unit test because we are going to test the solution. And after that, when we are ready, we're going to test our package and we can move forward to the next stage. So I switch off from the presentation to, I don't know what's happening with Zoom here, to Visual Studio. Let's start a new one. Create new project. Oops, class library, correct. Next, I just put it desktop and with the other things, and let's name it Meetup. Just this easy name. So, yeah, let's first write the code. It's going to be easy anyway. Hello world. And we can make that static. Again, reason static string, say hello. And return hello world. Worlds, maybe sometime in the future. For now, world. This is one thing. We can also add the a test, new project. Yeah, message. You can add everything you want, but for that, we don't really care about it. Let's name it meetup dot, I don't know, tests, and add the reference to our project. Rename that to hello world tests. This will be the say hello test var hello result. Sorry. You know, I want to talk all the time as I write because I can't see anyone, so I don't know even if you hear me or not. It's kind of a weird thing. Nevertheless, I might spare some of my voice, oops, for the end test. Let's see. What? Message failed. What is, how is different? Hello, world. Okay, and then maybe a bit more interesting for those of you that might not know some of the things. We're going to generate a package just to test it. This is the package ID. I have it ready here. I thought that I will name it like this. Package version, let's say it's 0.0.2.1 y2. Authors, I don't care about that thing now. Expression, this is where we just write MIT. And I think that is it. That is the mandatory fields. Although we can remove one, for example, we can remove that one and build to test to Nugget if it is indeed working. And what is the error message? Upload package, browse my desktop, meetup, again, this one, and this one, isn't it? Yes. all possible packages should have license. It's what we were talking about. We didn't add the license. This is a similar error message that you will get for all mandatory fields. This one, and this one, the licensing. Let's build again. We need to cancel just to be sure. Browse. Is it done? Yes. And we are ready. It is working. We can also submit it now. Yeah, it will take an hour. This just means that it accepted everything. It will take an hour to be submitted. I submitted manually previously another version, this dash alpha. Why I didn't delete it? Because you can't. When you upload something to nugget.org, we can never delete it. They say, you know, if you delete something that someone else is using, you might break their code. But the thing is that nobody's even downloaded. So I don't know why I can't delete it. Nevertheless, that is not a problem. We'll see later that it's actually useful to upload the first version on yourself and then do the automation. I think that more or less we are done with the demo, with the dummy application, and we can go on to GitHub. What are we going to do? Sorry, wrong shortcut. We are going to create a new repository. Yeah, find a nice name if you want to do something public. We are going to choose public repository, not a private one. Why? I think maybe there is a chance that this changed, but a few days ago, a week ago, when I checked, the private repository only allows three collaborators. The public allows unlimited collaborators. Also in the private, there is a limitation that there are no protected branches, and that can be an issue, of course. And you don't have public GitHub pages. That changed indeed. How many collaborators are there? Tobias, unlimited. So in private, in GitHub.com, it is indeed changed. I thought I've read it somewhere. Now, from now on, it is unlimited collaborators for private repositories too. The protected branches and no GitHub pages didn't change that, I guess, right? Okay. In private repositories, you cannot have protected branches. And in GitHub repositories, same. Okay. At least last week, these were true. This has now changed. When we create our repository, we will then push our code. We'll see an easier way. I just added all the commands here. And then we'll have to protect our master and release branches. This is the most important step, actually, because if you're planning for contributions, you want these branches to be protected. The master branch will hold your code, and the release branches will be the branches that we will at the end push to Nugget. Now, I think we can just quickly go to GitHub and do all the things we need to do. Oops, wrong. I want to go to GitHub. New, again, I can use the same name. This can be the repository. Public, correct, create. You can add this, actually. Git ignore for Visual Studio, it's easier. And the license, since we used MIT. Now, push our code. There is this complicated way of merging histories, but another thing that I usually like to do is this. I'm just going here. Let's create another. No, let's just do git clone. Oops. Where is it? And close the Visual Studio from here and copy everything where is it? Is it this one? Yeah, copy everything here and we are done. And then of course, git add, what? I am outside the git add, git commit, let's name it initial commit, git push. Come on. And we are done. We have our code here and we are ready to start configuring a bit the GitHub common. So, what's happening? I don't know what's happening right now. I'm trying to figure out what. Μα έχεις το μικρόφωνο στο ανοιχτό, κλείστο. Okay. Can you hear me now? I think you can hear me now and it seems it's better. Apparently we logged in with another device and it did this feedback thing. Anyway, sorry for this. Let's move on. Where were we? Where were the settings? Branches. We need to protect our branches, as we said before. Add rule, we protect, come on, we protect the master branch. We require pull request reviews. Of course, you need to know what is, who is trying to add what code. And we need some status checks. This is just the basic things I'm going to add. Require branches. This is kind of useful actually to retrieve or to pull all data from GitHub from the master branch before you attempt to make a merge request. And here we'll see later that you could add more status checks. I'm trying to hurry up a bit because it's already 6:40 almost for some reason. Anyway, this is how we protect the master branch, and we also need to protect the release branch. Sorry. Add new rule, release, start again, everything. This is also a very nice idea to do in case you at some point you forgot and you switch to, you check out the release branch and you push it directly, this will publish. So this will enforce the rule that nobody can override, nobody can directly push to a branch. Especially for release branches, I find it very useful. Now, I think we are done with the GitHub and we are ready to pass to DevOps, right? Let's first go to our presentation a bit. This is our Azure DevOps. What are we going to do here? We're going to create an Azure DevOps project. This is the main thing of the presentation anyway. We're going to create an Azure DevOps project. I hope these things didn't change last week or something, but last week again, it was one free parallel for the private repository, right? For both GitHub and Azure DevOps, if you have money, you can do whatever you want. Nevertheless, for the private repository, one free parallel job, up to 6 minutes per job, max 1800 minutes per month, right? For the public, 10 parallel jobs and max timeout 360 minutes, no limitation per month. We're also going to enable Azure pipelines, but of course, this is what we're going to present. What's the plan? We will create 2 pipelines. Maybe, apparently we will not, I don't know if we'll have time, but there is also another approach for 3 pipelines, but we are going to create only 2 just for the sake of time. One for the master branch and one for the release branch. The master will just build and test, and the release will build, test, pack, and deploy. How we're going to do this? We're going to follow the trunk-based flow. You probably know Git flow. It's very easy to see. It's that very well-known, flow. Yes, it's this one. I'm not going to say a lot about it. Two major branches, develop and master. Features from develop. Master represents the version out there. Release branches when we want to release something. You might also know the Git flow, the GitHub flow as a branching model, which is this one. They have this very nice page here. One branch, this is the master one, goes on forever. When you want to create a new feature, you create a new branch, you start adding commits to that, you open a pull request once you're ready, you are collaborating, comments, correcting things, pushing again. And then this is the big difference of what we are not going to do. You publish the feature branch before you actually put it in master. That ensures that you are actually testing on production. When this is done and you're okay, you are magic to master. Why? Because first of all, if something goes wrong, you go directly here. And secondly, because this assures that master is a very clean branch. We're going to do it a bit different. It's actually how Microsoft does it. Let me open that, make that bigger. This is our master branch, or trunk, as I name it. These here are the feature branches. So each feature is not published directly. There is no release. We are merging into master when we have our code reviews and blah, blah, and so forth. And every once in a while, when we decide, we publish a release. This release is there when we are exactly ready that nothing is wrong with that code, and developers never commit to these release branches. This is what we're going to follow. Now, we're going to create an Azure pipeline. This thing is better to see it live. We're going to select GitHub as our service, select our repository, ASP.NET, and we are done. This is how easy it is to just build the master thing. I will skip those steps to hurry up and go directly to Azure DevOps, and we will see them live anyway. Azure DevOps, yes. Sign in. We're going to create a new project, as we said. This will be the name, public. I don't know why this is here. Create. Very simplistic approach. All we see is the board, but we want to see more. We want the Azure pipelines. We go to settings here, and then we enable pipelines. This is a place that we can enable everything. Actually, we can, instead of using GitHub, we can host our code here. Test plans, not going to do anything here, but it's how to do structured manual testing at a large scale. Very interesting project. And artifacts, we can have our Nugget private servers there. Not only Nugget, NPM, Maven, everything we want. We are only going to do pipelines now. So we have our pipelines here. Create our pipeline. See how easy it is. We are coming pipelines, create a pipeline, choose GitHub. If you haven't connected Azure DevOps with GitHub, you will have this connection between GitHub and Azure, service connection. We choose our repository. It is ASP.NET, and we're done. Save and run. It's a Windows latest image. This is a bit slower. The job is running already. I will change that to this flow here. Why? Actually, we're using Ubuntu. It's a bit cooler and a bit faster. All of the rest are the same. No major changes. And we're going to see how slow the Windows machine is. What it's doing, it's actually booting up a VM with the requested OS. It's downloading the necessary tasks, everything that it needs to have, and installing them, and then it will start to run its one by one the tasks. Checks out the code, restores Nugget, and then builds and tests. Hopefully it will finish in a few more seconds successfully. And imagine that we didn't add some major Nugget package or something, right? Yeah, finally. This should be very fast. Now, at this point, with just a few clicks, we did nothing. We managed to automatically build and test our application. These tests, when you go here, you can see the results here. Not yet. This comes a bit slower. In a few minutes, probably just before the end talk ends, you will start seeing here the results of your builds. You already see it here that we successfully built one in 1 minute and 35 seconds. And this is pretty cool because now we can go to the YAML file and replace it with what we have here. Oops, not with my passwords. Where is the PowerPoint? Replace it with this one. And I don't know what that is. And let's see, first of all, what steps are we doing? First of all, the trigger. This is a YAML thing, so most probably I don't want to get too much into details about it. But let's see, I was reading the chat actually. If you have any questions, chat is probably a good idea to do it. Or at the end, we can just open the microphone. Let's test. How can we actually talk? Settings. Just click here and you have the task on the left to edit it. You can do it if I remove, let me just copy this because I don't want to write it. If I delete the task, I can come here. I can say that I want a new .NET Core task. You see there are tens of tasks to do anything you want, from Python to, of course, .NET. I want to build everything, all CS projects. Maybe we could add release, but we don't care right now as a configuration, as an argument, but we only want to build releases. We add it and we are done. This is all that was necessary. One thing that I usually like to do, and they are doing it by default, is adding a display name. Because if you don't, all of these steps will be .NET Core CLI at 2, and which is actually not very useful to see. So let's name that build. Similarly enough, just to save some time, we are doing with all the steps. This one is not mandatory. I'm just doing it, yeah, let's say as a test or as a part of the presentation. It is nicer, I think, to check it in the release branch. So save it. Yes. When I saved it, I will create 2 pipelines. When I saved it initially, I was, since I will create 2 pipelines, the way that Azure DevOps will do it by default is creating one is azure-pipeline.yaml, and the other YAML file will be azure.pipelines-1 or something. So it's usually a good idea to rename the file. How you can do that? Not very easily. If we refresh, you can see the YAML file here. You can go here, edit it. Let's name that master. commit changes. And now, unfortunately, we disconnected the this pipeline. It doesn't know where the YAML file is. So this is what the error message we're getting here. We have to go to settings and find the correct underscore. Anyway, save it, and we are done. One other thing that I wanted to show you with the master branch is that in the branches, in the master branch, I told you already that we can add here, status checks. What are the status checks? I have a brand dedicated slide here. You are using an external service to actually understand if that commit, if that merge request is okay. So every time someone commits something to that master branch, these status checks will run, and it will show if it passes our build and test and everything we have in there. So I think we are done with the master branch. We are okay with it. Let's go and create the second pipeline, which is the most interesting. We are going to publish directly to Nugget. This has this one because we can run it. It had this problem previously with the name of the YAML file. We can run it and it will run correctly. Now, how will publish directly to Nugget? We will need an API key. We come to Nugget gallery here. We go to API keys, very easy, create. Let's name it the same right now. This is the reason why initially you need to publish at least one time your Nugget package, because this key that you have here has the ability to either push new packages or push only versions. This one, I don't know, I find it kind of risky. It means that everyone that has this package can publish new packages on my name. So usually I disable it and I say only package versions. Where we need it here. This is the Nugget package we uploaded previously. We are done. Expires. Yeah, this is the biggest we can get anyway. Create. We have sometimes, I'm not very sure how much, maybe a few minutes to copy the key, and then we can never see it again. And since we copy it, we're going to project settings, to service connections. This is the service connection with GitHub I already have. First time you do it, you will have to create this service connection, but it will be done automatically through the process of creating a pipeline. We add the new service collection. Let's write Nugget here. Yep. This one correct. Next. This is the API key. Nobody sees it. We can have this again as a name. Feed URL, since it's a Nugget org, we can use this one. And we are done. Right? We have now our service connection with Nugget, and we can use it from our pipelines. So again, the same process. We go to new pipelines, we choose GitHub, find the correct repository, which is this one. ASP.NET, that step before that you see, it's the step that you will have to create this service connection. It will help you, Azure will help you to do that. You will not have to go to project settings. ASP.NET, this is the default, again, that they are giving us just to build, but we need something a bit different. Let's go to our PowerPoint and check the pipeline. Again, this is the trigger. We are using an Ubuntu image, build, test, pack, and then we publish the artifact in the pipeline, and we are getting this artifact then from the artifacts directory and pushing it directly to Nugget by feeding these credentials here. No, not yet. Let's get that. put it here, and let's see. These are the same commands as you see before, as we said before. This is the .NET Core commands. This command here is the publish pipeline artifacts. You see the name is more or less the same. And this one here is the Nugget. Nugget has also a pack feature. We didn't use it. No reason for that. But we only used the push command. This is our Nugget server. When it says Nugget server, it actually means the service connection. It's that thing here, the credentials. Here it's named service. It's kind of weird. In project settings, it's named service connection. Here it's named publish feed credentials, and here it's named Nugget server. Don't pay too much attention to it. Theoretically, we are ready. Just one thing. Versioning, this is something that we didn't discuss before. Versioning is something that here, at least we left it for ourselves. What I mean by that, we will have, now let's go here, need that. We will have to change the version each time from the package settings of our solution, of our project. Here, properties. We will have to change it here. There are some solutions offered. Actually, I never used any of the other solutions. These three, what does that mean? It will use again the versions you chose. It will just add at the end a -ci and the date time of when this build happened. I don't know if it's useful for some of you. I never used it, to be honest. I never used any of those. The other way, I'm sorry, is to use an environment variable. Variables are here. When you add a variable, it's actually added in the environment, so you can pick it up. Where was I? We can pick it up from the environment and write it here. The last one is use a big number. More or less, you know that how many, there is an incremental number. It adds it at the end to know which was the build number. From those two, if you want to use something, I could find more useful the date time. Nevertheless, the environment variable, meaning that the actual developer that does the push is not responsible of the version, is also a useful thing. For us, let's leave it to off for now. Now, where are we? We don't need to do anything more. Save and run. Hopefully, just before I save it, if you save it one time, the first time I save it, I can change the name of the YAML file. After that, no more. I'm sorry. You have to do the other thing we did from GitHub. So save and run. Yes. Let's wait a bit and see what's happening. It's running. Let's go in the job. Picking up an Ubuntu image and preparing everything. I hope it will be a bit faster, but of course it will fail again, right? Why? Because we already published this version. I think we'll see that in Nugget push that the version is already there. Let's see. Pack, correct. Publish pipeline, artifacts. And here it will fail. Yes. And if we go here, you can see that the error is a package ID and version 001 already exists and cannot be modified. I think we are done now. I think I've seen this error here, I know. Let's see, what was the error here? Maybe we can Nugget push. I opened the other one, sorry. Job, pack, no files match the set. Yes, because I think, you know, this is another problem, very annoying. All of the pipelines are named like this. This is the first that we did, and this is the last that we did. I usually rename them to something like, I don't know, Azure Pipeline. This is the first one, hopefully. So it's the master. And correct, this is the second one. Let's rename it to Azure Pipeline release, let's say. So now we know that this one is failing. Let's go and edit it. I think the error is because the project is named Meetup and not folder actually, and not the other one. Save it and run it. Now, I don't remember what time do we have to finish. Let me go to meetup.com and see how much time do we have. We have another 20 minutes, so we are cool. We are ready, everything is ready. Hopefully this will finish successfully so we can go and play around. First of all, let's assume we want to push a new version. And yeah, let's just change here. Come on, from hey world to indeed hello world. Let's move in the future. Maybe they don't have coronavirus in the future and they have many worlds. So we do that, we sync pull. We always have to do that because we had this status check, if you remember. And changes, yeah, it's we world to worlds. We don't really care right now to write a proper message. Push. Master succeeded. We push to master, didn't I? Yeah, we push to master, and in a minute it will. Was it successful? Successfully pushed to origin master. Correct. Pipeline started automatically because we had that trigger here when the master is updated, and this is our commit. It's building and testing. Of course, now I skipped a part. I pushed directly to master because I am an administrator and I didn't add this thing here, this checkbox here. Nevertheless, the correct process would be to create a feature branch. I would most probably skip that in order to test the the releases, how we do a release. So how we do a release? First of all, we need to create a new branch, right? This is the master branch. We need to create new local branch, name it release. Let's say V. How was the last version? Let's say this is stable and this is the version 1. It's surely bigger. I'm not sure. Anyway, let's add V. Create branch. Okay. And then push it. Let's come here. Let's see our pipelines. This is still building, unfortunately. What is it doing? Ah, it's still waiting. Yeah, well, someday. Ah, no, sorry, the release branch. This is the release branch. Started already, and we are, you see, I didn't add the name in this step. Probably it's the build step, and you see that this is the default name. If you don't add the name, you will all of these will have the same name. Test pack, publish it as an artifact, and push it hopefully successfully. No, why? Let's see. Already exists, but I didn't. Ah, silly me. Sorry, guys. We need to check the version. We need to change the version, and we cannot. since we included that checkbox, we cannot push to this release branch, so we need to change it. And actually, the correct procedure would be to change to master. Come here. Let's assume that the version 1 is a mistake. Come here, change the version to master to 0.1. This will also change here. Correct. And then, since we changed it, we should push to master pull. Sorry, commit v1. I was in a hurry and I totally forgot. We pushed version 1 to master, and from that version 1, we create a new branch named release. We already have a v1, so let's name it, I don't know, let's name it without the v and assume that the other one is a mistake. We can delete branches, so we can do that. Release 1, create branch. Yes, correct. And push it. Okay, done. So this will start again. Master is still running, no problem. Release started already. This is the V1, correct job. And hopefully now we will manage to push to Nugget. And then let's see, is it already visible? So if I go to manage until I build, if I go to manage packages, I think that was our name, browse. Yes, it is visible. We are at version 001, and now hopefully we'll be at version 1. Yes, we did it. So what about if we go now to our packages? Yeah, it will take some time, of course, but it will be here in a while since we got the message that it succeeded. Your package was pushed. So it is there, believe me. We might need some time to see it. I think there were cases that it was even more than an hour, but nevertheless, it will be visible. So I think that is it. Only one issue remained. Remember that I changed the names of the pipelines here. Then that means I broke the checkbox here. If I refresh it, I hope it's here. Yes. You see all these things? This is what we want. These are old ones. But if you read here, status check found in the last week. So for the renames to go away, this one that they don't exist, you will need about a week to get rid of those. Nevertheless, since we checked it here, it will work correctly. And I think, I'm sorry, I think I am done. Since we have some time, I can show you something else, another Nugget package, which I also added automatically to publish documentation to this page. I use docfx project, and you can go from your pipelines here. This is the one, and you see here, build, test, deploy docs. This is another approach that I was telling you about. This is the status check. It's only made for checking statuses, nothing, no actual job. So I'm very sure that I am not affecting anything. And anything I want to check, I push it in this YAML file, and it's done. And I have two other pipelines, one that build, test, and deploy the docs, and one that publishes to Nugget. The deploy docs, that it's the one we do care about uses docfx, unfortunately only on Windows. This is a trigger for pull request that we didn't add, but you can add. And here you can see how you can write your own PowerShell command to actually install Choco, and from that docfx and build your project, build your docfx, your documentation. I think if we go and see the last run, it was quite some time ago, and I have some warnings which I didn't see. These are during the build. Documentation, downloading docfx and installing using Choco, building everything. This is the actual docfx that's trying to do the job, and when it's done, it's publishing directly to a folder in GitHub. Where is GitHub? Sorry for that. It's publishing directly to a specific folder, this one, which is the docs. And, come on, oops, sorry. And if you go to settings, if I remember where, to be honest, GitHub pages. Yes, it's on master branch under docs folder. So whatever you publish automatically to your docs folder, it will be your GitHub pages here. How about 8 more minutes? 8 more minutes, I can just show you the docfx a bit more, just to add a few things. GitHub, this is, I think this is the one. docfx, this is, I think, yes, this is, you just download it, and let me remember it. You have to create this docfx JSON, which is actually, you just take it as is and you play around with it. You are adding the source project. In the source project, of course, you need to enable documentation and do through this painstaking work of adding a document above its class and above its method. And that will create automatically the documentation. But you can also add your own index MD pages, your markdown. So if you check here, this is a custom markdown. This thing, you add it in your folder here. This is the index MD markdown. You add it in the folder here, and docfx builds it into an HTML. With that, it also builds the full documentation of the of your service with every comment, of course, you have. This is a very interesting way of actually creating documentations on the fly. And if you plan to create a project for the community, that would be a nice idea. Now with our lockdown, offer something to the community. It is very useful, of course, to have an extensive documentation of how you do things. Impressive thing, the docfx, if you are interested in details about a class, for example, this constructor, you can just use the source directly, or if you see that there is a problem, you can improve this doc by adding an MD file, right? So I think that is it. That more or less concludes this talk. I'm trying to think if I have something else. Let me open the PowerPoint. What? F5. What is that doing right now? I don't know. Slideshow from current slides. Let's test it. Yeah, we did that. And yeah, thank you. Questions. Nothing more from me. Any questions? How? I don't know. To be honest, yeah, just use the chat. Or aren't you able to enable your microphone? I think you can enable it. And since we are, yes, I think you can do it.
Yes, can I try and ask a question?
Yes, let's test.
Oh, you hear me good then.
Yes, yes.
So I was a little bit confused with when you created a new release. So then you first like change the version of the Nugget package, and then you push to master, right? And afterwards you created a release branch and push that one, or?
Yes, actually, you are right to be confused because I made a mistake initially. I was sort of in a hurry. Let me go back. So how I do things, of course, following this branching model. Let's say we are now here. We are currently at version 1.0.1. We do our code, we do our changes. I think we already changed to hello worlds. We are in master. What we want to do? We want to change the version here to 1. You can also tag this version in master that we are at version 10.1.0.1. And then once we are done, we then go to create a new branch. This is my mistake.
Yeah, yeah.
Create a new branch named release 1.0.1.
Okay, I see. Yeah. Then,
yes.
Then it makes more sense to me. Yes.
Yes, yes. It was my mistake. This is completely my mistake. It shouldn't be there. And I think we can also delete it from here. And I can delete it from GitHub.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing I was wondering, when you created a new pipeline,
yes,
and you could select all these projects, right? Like you had .NET, and you also had something with .NET Core, I think.
You mean in Azure DevOps?
Yeah, in Azure DevOps.
There is a bar, for a zoom bar, just above the browser where the Chrome has the tabs, and I cannot move the mouse there. So it's kind of difficult. Next time I will have to find a way.
It seemed like you could also choose something with .NET Core there, and I was wondering if it then it chooses an Ubuntu host actually to build.
Yes,
Ubuntu
actually
agent.
it wasn't .NET Core. You mean that? Let's go here. Let's go new
But
pipeline.
You're using .NET Core right now,
yes,
also for the building, yeah.
Yes. Yes, this is the approach that ASP.NET will be 1, it will be 5, and we are done. So if I go here, you mean this one?
Yeah, yeah. If you choose that one, then will it choose Ubuntu actually as a build agent?
Yeah, for which one? For this one, you mean?
Yeah, maybe ASP.NET Core. Oh no, then it says .NET Framework.
Yeah, this is actually to build project built in .NET Core, written in .NET Core, but targeting .NET Framework.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I misread it. Yeah, okay. Then thank you. Yeah.
No problem at all.
Yeah, but it was very clear, very powerful. I think pretty easy to do everything.
Very easy, right?
Yeah.
Very easy, and everything free. So it's kind of crazy having this power to test your app.
Nice. Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you for your comment. We tested that it works, this way of asking questions. So thank you.
Yes, indeed. No.
Anybody, if there is nobody else, and please ask more. Maybe Betsy, you want to say something about the 2 months of this trial of your project? I think I added. Let me also open up this thing.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm not going to give you guys a huge sales pitch because we all hate those. What I will tell you is that I would just wanted to say hi to those of you who are in Munich. We are also in Munich. We have an office here, and we are 7-pace time tracker for Azure DevOps. So the time recording extension for Azure DevOps and teams who want to do time recording, but realize that, you know, it can kind of suck sometimes. So we created a super integrated time tracking and recording, forecasting, and management tool within Azure DevOps because you guys are in Munich and we're doing our best to support people who are here, especially right now. We're doing our best and we can offer you guys a 2-month free trial with us. Usually the trial only lasts a month, and we want to be able to let you guys click around a little bit more and check it out. So if you guys downloaded our extension, I'll get you guys the link quick here and put it in the chat. And if you contact support, we will make sure that you get an extended trial so you guys can check it out.
Okay, thank you, Betsy, for that. Betsy, promise that when this thing is over, it will support our meetup with, I don't know, a space or whatever, anything else we will agree. And that's why she's also offering this 2 months full trial, isn't it? Full trial?
Yeah, it's a yeah, 2 months for free, and you get like the full. Our trial isn't one of those things that's like completely super limited.
Okay, cool.
And then once after this, all of this nonsense, we will actually get to meet in person, and
that would be nice. I think we all wait for that anxiously because it's as you said, crazy anyway. So any other questions? Oops, again, I don't know why it's shift F5. Yeah. Any other questions? Anyone? Actually,
possible to add, for example, the branch name to the version automatically, so that you can publish this on a private Nugget feed, so to use it in different stuff.
If I understand correctly, you said about adding the version automatically.
Add the version instead of adding alpha or beta something. You add the branch, the name of the branch. Is it possible on automatically to do it?
So since I created the branch 101, that should automatically somehow be 101. I don't know, this is something that we can, this is very interesting. I don't know if there is an environment variable or a variable that can get the name of the branch. Of course, you say have to be, this is the name of the branch. So you need to actually do some work, maybe with PowerShell to split it and get the correct one. Most probably there is a way to get the name of the branch. I'm pretty, oops, sorry, where did I click? I'm pretty sure there is one, but I don't know it right now. We can maybe search it if we have time, or if anyone else knows how from during build in YAML to get the name of the branch. That would be interesting. If you can do that, you can then use PowerShell to set up a variable. And if you remember here, where are we? Let's go here. I think it is more or less the same. Oh no, sorry. Edit. Here, when we have this one, you can set the versioning from an environment variable. So theoretically, you can do that. You can name the environment variable whatever. Let's name it, I don't know. I'm writing something now. And here, use PowerShell to retrieve the name of the branch. I'm sure that is possible somehow. And then create a variable named this interesting name here. I don't know why I can't write. That's why. This create a variable name anyway and set it to the version that you want. And this will get the version that you want. So this is the only solution I can imagine right now. Please feel free if someone has another idea. Is this what you're asking?
Yeah, great, thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? Actually, it's very hard, you know. I can't see anyone, so I'm not very sure. Is it that you're thinking, or is it that there are no more questions? I think I will just wait a few more seconds, and then we can say temporarily goodbye. I just wanted to let you know there are at least one meetup, most probably two meetups are coming already. One with Roller and Rappel for micro frontends and Blazor. That would be very interesting. And then again, to remind you of that call for small talks. Just keep our community happy and occupied. So, I think, as I see from the comments, anyway, thank you for coming. Thank you for your comments, and actually, thank you for helping debug this online attempt to have meetups. This was our first one. We will have more throughout this weird, crazy situation. We will do it like this. I hope everyone will be healthy. We should do whatever they want. We can do else, but in any case, we shouldn't be afraid that much. For the vast majority, is just a flu. So just try, all of you and all of us, to do the best we can for our teams that they are more sensitive to that. Let's say for our fellow humans that they are more sensitive to that. So thank you for coming. Have a nice evening. We'll talk again very soon.
Thank you.
Ciao guys. It's very weird, right? I mean, I don't know what to do, but anyway,
Thank you.
I'm just closing now.
Yes.
Ciao, bye. Bye,
Ciao.
guys. We'll
Ciao.
talk again. Bye.